Hi guys, welcome to my discussion video. I'll be answering this week's questions. So, how has addiction impacted my life? I don't really have anyone that I am close to that has suffered from addiction. My ex-husband's aunt, she, however, did drink herself to death. I'm very sad. Um, but I wasn't really around, nor did I have a relationship with her. I just kind of see now how it impacts my ex-mother-in-law, because it doesn't really affect anyone else on that side of the family. But yeah, really sad to watch someone who has trauma and has had a hard life and they look to alcohol or drugs or that sort of stuff to cope with their problems. Yeah, okay, so for chapter 3, the social determinants of drug use, misuse, involvement, two things I found interesting. One was that college education doesn't seem to impact whether someone will be a user, which I thought was interesting. I just assumed that the more education you have, the less likely you would be to engage in using drugs. But then reading that there's a decrease in cigarette use, but the binge drinking, marijuana, and vaping is still about the same. That didn't really surprise me because the majority of people I know, they don't smoke traditional cigarettes, but I do have friends that use marijuana and I do have friends that vape. Me personally, I don't. That's not one of our questions, though. The other thing I found interesting was the decriminalization in Portugal. Because Portugal, they see their drug use problem as a public health issue instead of a criminal issue. And so they've done things to address that. First, they see addiction as an illness, and they don't distinguish between a soft drug and a hard drug. And the focus is on the unhealthy relationship with the addict and how the drugs impact that person and how that person and the drugs impact other people and essentially the entire country. So when decriminalization, I was like, okay, does this just mean that if someone's found with drugs that nothing happens, like they just go to a mental health place? So I did some research, and let's say someone is found possessing drugs. They'll go to the police station, they will weigh the amount, and if it is above a certain amount, they will be charged with drug trafficking. And then, they'll be referred to health services. Drug possession, that is illegal, but drug personal use, so if it's a smaller amount, that is not illegal. And in that case, that person is just immediately referred to, I forget what they call it, but the mental health facility where they get treatment and recovery. And this decriminalization, it at first was very, very beneficial. There was a reduction in incarceration. The amount of overdoses and death related to drugs decreased significantly. There was a 90% reduction in HIV, so like good things. But then 2023, so around 2 years ago, they started seeing overdose rates increase, but this is still considered very low compared to the rest of Europe. And another thing uh, that I read about is in the bigger cities like Lisbon, you might see people like using like in public and then discarding the paraphernalia. So, but yeah, decriminalization, very interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts are and see you guys later.